all is the fun and easy test. So parts or sides of a right angle triangle. You have the, when we use trigonometry, we always name sides. With respect to the angle. So in this angle, this triangle, we have the angle theta.
Draw that with the other pen.
So we have the angle. So the hypotenuse is the largest side of a right triangle, and it is also not raised of the 90-degree angle or the right angle. So the hypotenuse is the longest side of a right angle triangle, and it is not a ray of the right angle. The adjacent side is the side adjacent or next to the given or stated angle. So the named angle. So in this case, you're given the angle theta. So this side is adjacent to the angle theta, so it is the adjacent side. So it is also not the hypotenuse. So the adjacent side is not the hypotenuse. So the opposite side is the side opposite to the given or stated angle and not the hypotenuse. So in this example, this side is the hypotenuse, or the opposite side. So this is the opposite side because it is not a ray of the angle theta. It is opposite to the angle theta, and it's not the hypotenuse. So moving on to Pythagoras' theorem. So in words first, Pythagoras' theorem says the sum of the square of the two shorter sides is equal to the square of the hypotenuse. So the sum of the squares of the two shorter sides is equal to the square of the hypotenuse, or a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, where c is the length of the hypotenuse. So that was Pythagoras' theorem. So the next topic that we covered was trigonometry. So trigonometry, you have a mnemonic device called SOHCAHTOA. So SOHCAHTOA stands for sine opposite over hypotenuse, cosine adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent opposite over adjacent. So SOHCAHTOA again. Sine, opposite hypotenuse, cosine, adjacent hypotenuse, tangent, opposite adjacent. Hopefully that's a reason. Look at the screen.
To the right side. Right side. Right side. Upper.
Is it racing?
เดี๋ยวมันก็ออกเองมั้งก็ออกเองมันนิดเดียวได้ธรรมดาแต่มันลบไม่ตรงกับธรรมดาเนี่ยมันอย่างนั้น
Plus would be variable.
มันลบไม่ตรงกับนิดเดียว
So get moving on.
เป็นไร
อย่าเป็นดาบเขาคงเล่นดาบ มันไม่ใช่โดนตัวเรา มันอยู่นู่นมันอยู่ที่หน้าจอนู่น
จริงมันมีแสงสว่างเลยบาเห็น
So we'll use this triangle to get the trigonometric ratios. So we're going to start with the angle theta and with sine. So that's sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse. Or shortening it O over H. And in this triangle, it is the side that we call Y over the side that we're calling H. So sine of theta is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. So the opposite side to the angle theta is Y. And of course the hypotenuse does not change, and that is H. So Y is the sine of theta. Cosine of theta. Cosine is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So I'm going to abbreviate adjacent as A. So A over H. The adjacent side to the angle theta is X. So the cosine ratio is equal to X over H. Okay, so the tangent of theta is equal to the opposite side over the adjacent side. So the opposite side to cosine theta is Y and the adjacent is X. So it should be Y over X. So tangent of theta is equal to Y over X. So now we want to do the reciprocal. And the reciprocal trigonometric ratio of sine is cosecant.
แค่มิเตอร์นะเดี๋ยวเราเลือกกันด้วยแค่ไม่มิดได้โอเค
So the cosecant of theta is equal to 1 over the sine of theta, which is equal to the hypotenuse over the opposite, which is equal to over Y. Okay, so the secant of theta is the reciprocal of the cosine. So the secant of theta is equal to 1 over the cosine of theta, and that is equal to the hypotenuse over the adjacent, or the hypotenuse over x. And the last reciprocal trigonometric function. So the cotangent of theta is the reciprocal of the tangent of theta. So the cotangent of theta is equal to 1 over the tangent of theta, or adjacent over the opposite. So that is equal to x over y. So now we want to look at the other angle phi. So the sine of phi, give the opposite over the hypotenuse.
ถามในหนังสือ
But this time the opposite side is not y, but it is x. X is the opposite side to the angle phi. So the sine of the angle phi is equal to x over h. So the cosine of the angle is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So this time the adjacent side is y. So the cosine of phi is y over h. So the tangent ratio, which is the ratio of the opposite side over the adjacent, is equal to x over y. And now, quickly, the reciprocal trigonometric functions. Okay, starting with the cosecant ratio. The cosecant of phi is 1 over the sine of phi. So that is equal to the hypotenuse over the opposite, or h over x. And the secant of phi is 1 over the cosine of phi, which is equal to the hypotenuse over the adjacent, or h over y. And finally, the cotangent of phi is 1 over the tangent of phi, which is equal to the adjacent over the opposite, which is equal to y over x. So now we want to cover uses of the Pythagoras theorem and trigonometry. Apparently to record, I cannot do that file.
มันเป็นอย่างนี้เนี่ยข้างบนมันแบบข้างบน
So uses of Pythagoras theorem and trigonometry. First is, if you know two sides,
ครับนี่เป็นเป้าสายตาไปโดนหัวเมื่อกี้แขนทั้งหมดเองต้องเอาถูกตรงกันกระดาน
So if you know the length of two sides of the third side using Pythagoras theorem, use of Pythagoras' theorem and trigonometry is if you know two sides, you can find the angles in trigonometric ratios or trigonometry. So one finds
ข้อ 5เป็นคอสไซน์หรือว่าแทนนะข้อ 5ข้อ 5เป็นคอสหรือว่าไซน์หรือว่าแทนเป็นไซน์คอสหรือว่าแทน
Okay, so the finals of Pythagoras' theorem and trigonometry. If you know one of the acute angles and one side, you can find the other side or one other side using trigonometry or both of the other sides using trigonometry. Or you can find one side using trigonometry and the missing side using Pythagoras' theorem. Let's see, little bit. So, 4 angles of elevation and depression. Last thing. So angles of elevation and depression. So the angle of elevation, an angle of elevation is when you look up at a point. Measured from the horizontal. So both of these angles are measured from the horizontal. And the angle of depression is when you have to look down at the point P, then it's an angle of depression. And if it like the elevation, it is measured from the horizontal. So that is all for the review. We're gonna post these on the website.
I don't think
No, I'm joking.
practically, I don't think it's possible.
So that is all for today. You're welcome, class, and I'll see you tomorrow.